Hi there, welcome to the Pip Pin podcast. It is August 14th, 2017, and this is episode number 3. My name is Megan Nodecker. I am a knitting pattern designer from Vancouver, BC, or just outside of there. I am Pip Pin on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram is the one that I actually use. And on Ravelry, I am Knit Pip Pin. And we also have a group on Ravelry, and it is Pip Pin as well. I just wanted to say thank you if you are a returning viewer. Thanks so much for coming back. And if you're new, then welcome, and I hope you enjoy. The first thing I want to talk about is the last week I had a giveaway on Instagram because I finally reached 1,000 followers, so that was very exciting. So I made up a little gift package of I had a project bag and some patterns and some cute little vintage scissors, a skein of sweet fiber yarn, and so that went on for about a week, and there were like crazy amount of entries. I was not expecting that. So I'll definitely be doing another giveaway either on Instagram or Ravelry sometime soon because it was just really fun. Anyway, so I have a winner. The grand prize winner is Maker's Haven, and that's Amber from North Carolina. So congratulations to Amber. I already sent her package in the mail, and hopefully you'll get it soon. Show us what you're gonna make. I also had some runner-up prizes, just of some Pip Pin digital downloads on Ravelry, and those 5 winners were Riv Creative, Knitter Gal, Rosie Retro, Kate Lee 13, Shayna Lynn Huff. So congratulations to you guys as well, and absolutely 100% I'm going to be doing another one soon because that was just way too awesome. Thanks for everyone who entered, and look out for another one soon. The next thing I have is I have a pattern release, and I think that this one was done in June actually, but I just got my copy of the magazine last week, so that's when I actually noticed it. But it's a hat design for, this can be found in the fall 2017 issue of Knitzine, and it is this guy right here. Is that working? Kind of. And this is the Brighton hat. It is made with, and I am totally going to butcher this, I've been practicing it, and yeah, no, it's still not going to work. Okay, so the yarn used is Zelana Performa Kauri worsted, and it's a yarn from New Zealand, and it was really lovely to work with. I used, what colors did I use? The brownie gray one is natural, and then the burgundy one is red tui. And this was a yarn that I've never used before. I've never even heard of it before. And that's one thing that I really like about working with magazines is getting the opportunity to use yarns that I've never used before. I'd say the majority of the time when I am knitting something for a magazine, they pick the yarn. I give a suggestion and swatch in something that I kind of have, and then they send whatever they want, either the company they're working with or something. So they sent that to me, and it was really cool because it is made with Possum. It's 60% merino, 30% Possum, and 10% silk. And in New Zealand, the brush-tail possum is actually an invasive species, so they have to get rid of them. they do have to destroy them because they will destroy everything. If they're they'll just overrun everything. They don't have any natural predators, so they just will grow and grow and grow and grow. So they can't really have that. So, I mean, they do have to get taken care of. And instead of them just going to waste, they decided to start making yarn out of it. And I'm from Canada, so the possums that we have here are gross. They are just like big, giant, gross rats. I don't know, they're big rats, basically. And the ones, there's a picture of the brush-tail possum on the label, and it explains all about the possums in New Zealand. But they're actually kind of cute, and they have these fluffy tails, and so it's a little bit sad. But anyways, it has to be done. But it's kind of it was a really interesting yarn, because when you think of, like, when I thought of it, I was expecting something kind of like alpaca, like a wool alpaca blend, something with some drape and really warm, and it wasn't really. Like, it's really dense, like an alpaca wool blend would be, and it's really soft. But it's like alpaca, you get a lot of drape, and this one it's more spongy, like it has more memory, so it's more like just like 100% wool, but really, really dense and warm. And it was, yeah, really interesting to work with. So if you ever come across it, I would definitely suggest trying this out. And this Brighton hat is a kind of perfect opportunity, because they come in 50-gram balls, and one hat uses one ball of each color, pretty much in its entirety. So yeah, there's that. Knit Scene Fall 2017. You can find it in your grocery store, probably. That's where I got mine. As for finished objects, I have two, but I really can only show you one. The first one, if you watched last time, you'll remember the blue halter top that I was working on, and that was for next summer's issue of Knit Scene. That was out of the fiber company Luma, and it was just this cute little blue halter top thing with some a picot hem. But I finished it, and the deadline was coming up, and I mean, I packaged it up, and I was kind of rushing when I was doing it, because I wanted to get it sent out as soon as possible. Canada Post, and it's really slow, so I'm always anxious kind of when I have to send things on a deadline. So I packaged it up, and I was rushing to do it before I had to go and do something else, and yeah, I forgot to take pictures of it, so I can't actually show you. I don't have any pictures of it at all, not even any phone pictures, so no pictures of that one. You'll just have to wait till next summer to see it, I guess. But the other one, the other finished thing that I have, is actually a birthday present, because it was Katie's birthday yesterday. So happy birthday, Katie. If you are watching this before I've given it to you, turn it off or wait 5 minutes and go ahead if you don't want to know what it is. But what I have finished is a pair of socks. Get those there. And I made them the same way that I did my other socks, because I just really enjoyed that way. And so I knit one big long tube all the way with the one yarn, and then I cut them in half and did the afterthought cuffs and heels and toes. And yeah, I found that worked. That worked really well. These ones just kind of flew off, which is very strange for me, because socks usually take me forever. The last pair I had took me 6 months, and this one was about 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And so these ones, I posted some in-progress pictures on Instagram, and every single time I posted about them, I would get asked what yarn was being used. And honestly, I have absolutely no idea. It's really beautiful. You can see it there. It's light grays and dark grays and taupes and browns, and it's has stellina, so it's a little sparkly, which is great for Katie because she likes sparkly things. But I don't know what it is. I know it's a sock yarn. That's about it. This actually came from Katie. So Katie actually bought this yarn. A couple years ago, we took a family vacation to North Carolina, and we were staying, my mom had rented a house for us all to stay at in the Outer Banks. And so, of course, I had to go to the yarn store. And so me and Katie went to the yarn store, and she knits too, a little bit. So she found this and really loved it and bought it. And the plan was to make a simple shawl or something out of it. And that just kind of never happened. So she was going through her art stuff one day and found this and realized that, she's probably never going to use it. So she kind of passed it along. But by that point, it had already been caked and the ball band was missing. And so, I really, I just don't know too much about it. I know that it is hand-dyed. It's from an indie dyer in North Carolina. Has stellina wool, superwash, I'm assuming. I hope so. That's about all I know about it. The black yarn for the toes and the heels and the cuffs there, that is Knit Fix Hawthorne Fingering in Blackbird. And that's an 80% wool and 20% nylon. Just some leftovers from a pair of socks that I had knit a couple years ago. And I was so close. I was about 3 rows into, close to finishing the heel, because I did the cuffs, or the toes first, then the cuffs, and then the heels on both of them last. And there was this teeny tiny bit left. Literally 3 rows that I had to do, and I ran out of the black, which wouldn't have been a huge problem because I have a lot of this stuff left that I could have easily taken it out and just done the heel in the body color. But I don't know. I was finishing them up last night, and I really didn't want to take apart a whole heel. So I went digging, and in my box of sock yarn stuff, I found that I had actually knit a sock, well, like half a sock out of this stuff before, probably a year or 2 ago, and probably when I first inherited it from Katie. But I think they were turning out too small or something, so I just kind of stopped. But they had about a 1/2 inch cuff, or just the very, very top part of the cuff was in the black. So I was able to salvage some meterage from those ones, and I was able to finish them with the black heels. So happy birthday again, Katie. I hope you like them. I hope they fit. If not, I'll try again. I still feel like a very new sock knitter. I'm kind of in the trial and error stage right now, so I'm just trying things out. So I hope that you like them. Yeah, that's all for finished things. I feel like I started a lot of new things recently, probably because I finished up some stuff, and so I just felt like it was time to cast on some things. So one of the things, really the first thing that I'm working on is I've been in contact with Caitlin French, and she does lots of things. She does lots of really cool things with natural dyes. She makes ink and dyes yarn, and does eco printing on silk, and teaches classes about it, and harvests all her stuff. So that really, really cool things. And so she just started making these sock blanks, these gradient sock blanks with natural dyes. And so she had wanted me to design something using one of these sock blanks, and I jumped at the opportunity because they're really cool. And this is kind of what I'm coming up with. So first off, the sock blank, here it is. So this is the end of it. So it's kind of a nice, awesome dark purple, and then to the green. And I've never worked with a sock blank before. And I know a lot of people, like when you pull it off, it's kinky. Like you can see it. Yeah, there. Like when you pull it off, it's really, really kinky. And I know that some people have like pulled it all apart and soaked it and re-skinned it and kind of wound it to try and get some of that kinkiness out, because it does affect your stitches a bit. And instead of trying to fight it, because like ripping it off the sock blank as you're knitting it is really fun, and I think that's just a quality. That's a quality of knitting with a sock blank, and I think that's kind of part of the whole thing. So instead of trying to fight it, I have embraced it, and I'm designing a shawl on really big needles, drop stitches, like garter stitch. It's going to be a crescent, and it's gonna be kinky. Like it's gonna have some character. You can see it, like it literally just looks like nothing right now because it just is a big mess. But the plan is to block it within an inch of its life. And there you can see, maybe, let me see. Might be a little hard on here, but that there are going to be some drop stitches, and there's going to be more kind of towards the end, and the real magic is going to happen, I think, during blocking. And I'm really excited to see how this is all gonna work. And I'm right this part. I'm almost getting to the color change. So that's what I've been working on with that. I'm not sure if I said, but these sock blanks, they are available in her Etsy store right now. And I'm sure that I think that she'll have some at Knit City as well. And we're actually neighbors at Knit City, so that'll be fun. And yeah, I'm sure she has lots of cool things. She does patterns as well. And yeah, go check her out. She's awesome. The next thing, this is something that I cast on. It's been really, 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 really hot here. And there have been fires. Like I live on the kind of the coast of British Columbia, but in the interior there have been some fires, and like whole communities have burned down. It's been really, really terrible. There's firefighters from the States and from Australia, and like it is we're technically in a state of emergency right now because they just keep going. It's been weeks. And people haven't been able to get back to their homes because they've been evacuated. And that has led to, like, luckily here, there hasn't been, there's no threat of fire here. But this is all happening about 6-hour drive away, 4 to 6. But it has affected the air quality a lot. And so the past week or two have just been smoke and haze, and there have been days where we wake up and there's on the windowsill or places there's ash, and there's a air quality index that goes from 0 to 10 being the worst. And I think in Abbotsford we got it for the Fraser Valley, we kind of got it the worst for whatever reason, and I think we were up to 9 for a day or two in Kamloops and Kelowna, where these fires are much closer. I think 49 on a scale of 1 to 10, or a scale of 0 to 10 was 49. So this is crazy. And add that to, so it's been smoky, hazy, haven't seen the sun, but it's been hot. Like there have been 30-degree days, and so you can't really go outside. because there were a couple days where George and I just didn't go outside because it was too hard. Like you can feel it in your lungs. So we just didn't go outside, and we don't have air conditioning, and it's hot, and it's been bad. So we did one weekend, the long weekend. My husband took an extra day off, and we went to his parents' house because they have a basement that we can sleep in, and they have a pool and like a hot tub that they keep really cool. So we took some refuge there. I mean, it was still smoky there, but at least there were ways to keep cool. And they have a yard for George to run around in. Anyways, long story short. While I was there, I decided to start George's sweater. So, if you don't know the saga of George's sweater, what happened was a couple months ago, I had knit her a Gramps cardigan by Tin Can Knits, and it was beautiful. And it was all of the yarn from past projects, like my first sweater and the first sweater that I knit Justin, and one of my first sweater designs, and just had all of these lovely stripes of different colors, and they were all kind of jewel tones, and into this Gramps sweater. And I finished it during our first family camping trip, and then it got lost somewhere. I have no idea where it is. And so I decided to, instead of being super sad about it, I decided to take Georgia with me to 88 Stitches so she could pick out her own yarn for a new Gramps cardigan. So we did that a couple weeks ago, and she picked out, I'll show you the two that she actually picked out 3. But she picked out this blue and this pink, and these are both Barocco Vintage DK. And then there was also a like a navy blue that she picked the navy blue. I kind of picked this one. And I had been, I went back a little bit later to pick up a couple different colors of grays, just for the cuffs and the collar and the pockets and things like that. And then when the night before we went to my in-laws' house, I kind of had them all in a pile, and I was, figuring out how the stripes were going to go and things. And then Georgia said that she only liked the bright ones, so she didn't like the dark blue anymore. And so we settled on these stripes. And so that gray is Cascade 220, and it's just called gray, just a straight gray. And so this is, these are going to be, I haven't separated for the arms yet, but that's the back. And I think it's going to be really cute. It's totally different from the one that she had before, but I think it will be just as cute. And I'm pretty sure that this dark gray, this is Cascade 220 Heathers in charcoal gray, I'm pretty sure that's going to be for the cuffs and the collar and things. Maybe. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to do the pockets a little bit different, because in the pattern, they ask you to, they get you to just knit the body and then put the pockets on afterwards, which is fine. I didn't have a problem doing that, but I found that because they were striped, it was fiddly. So I had to keep track of what stripes went where, and then where I started, and sewing them together. I had to make sure that I just sew it together with the same color, and it was fine, but a little fiddly. So what I'm going to do this time is, instead of knitting the whole body, what I'm going to do is knit to where the top of the pockets are going to be, and then maybe do some intarsia or something, and do knit the cast off, or no, what I'll do is I'll knit, and then where the pockets are going to be, I'll put those stitches on hold, and then the next row I'll cast on with the charcoal gray, and, you know, do that little bit of ribbing, and then continue on with the stripe pattern. And that way I can go back at the end, and I can do instead of doing the outside of the pockets that need to be striped, I can do the inside of the pockets, like just pick up those stitches that I put on hold, and then I'll be doing the back instead of doing the front. So then I can do one solid color, and it won't be, you know, it won't be so crazy. That's the plan anyways. I'm no pocket expert. I don't really, this is kind of the first thing that I've ever put pockets on. So we'll see how it goes. I think it'll work. I don't see why not. And then I can do, and then I can just do a solid color on the inside, and seaming it up won't be so crazy. So that's, George's sweater. It'll be done by fall, I'm sure. I love making kid things. They go so fast. They're just, you know, that was maybe two evenings and 2 days of, like, not two full days, but, like, you know, 2 days of hanging around, chatting with people, kind of doing stuff, and not a lot of time at all. So it's always a nice little break, especially after a big project, to do something fun and pink and blue. That's what you wanted. The last thing that I have here is I cast on last night, actually, just after I had finished Katie's socks. I started these guys. And I don't know what kind of came over me. I don't know what all this sock business is about right now, but I've had this yarn in my stash for quite some time. I remember seeing someone had knit a pair of these socks on Instagram, and I've loved the yarn, and I think I went to Michael's that day and bought it, you know, with one of the 50% off coupons or whatever. And it is Patton's Croy socks, and it is the gray brown marl. And so it's 75% wool, 25% nylon, and these come in 50 gram balls. So I have 2 of these, and I'm just gonna do the same thing. This time I cast on 4 more stitches. So for Katie's socks, for these ones, I did 64 around, and I found that they might be a little bit tight, but that might also be because they're not super stretchy. This has a lot more stretch to it already, I can tell. And I ended up doing 68 just to see. So I think hopefully that will work out a little better. We'll see when these ones get done. I don't know, maybe I can bust them out in another 2 weeks. This kind of goes with my stash enhancement, I guess. But I've started doing the magic loop. I think I've been converted. I've always done, well, actually no, I haven't always done them this way, but with all of my first socks, and I've knit quite a few pairs of socks, but I've always done them on DPNs, and I really like using DPNs. I never got ladders with them. I am finding that I am getting a little bit of laddering, but I'm sure that'll go away eventually. But yeah, so I've used DPNs the whole time, and I've always really liked using them. And then I got a gift card to Birkeland Brothers in Abbotsford here, and I really like that yarn shop, but it's very specific. Like they don't carry yarn. Like they have a big machine there that does like a wool that you would use do for cowichan sweaters, and they have a lot of like fiber. They have a card, like a big carder from, I don't know, like the 1910s or something. Crazy. And it still works. That's what they use. So it's just a very, like, you can't go in there and buy, you know, Cascade. You can't, they don't really have hand-dyed things. They don't stock yarn. Like, I'm pretty sure the yarn that they have there that isn't Brooklyn Brothers is like, I have a feeling that it's just yarn that the lady like bought, and it just is kind of there. But they do have like needles and tools and things like that. So while I was there, I found some 9-inch circulars. They were Knit Picks ones, the wooden ones. I'm not sure exactly, but I decided to try those out, and I did like those, but I found that, like, I liked how fluid they were, but I found that I knit too tight with them, and they hurt my hand after a while because they're short. Like they're only about that long, the tips. So I started getting hand cramps after a while. So I decided to try a magic loop because that seems to be the thing that people do. And while I was at 88 stitches, I got 2 actually. The Chaogu lace needles and circulars. And I got 2 sizes. Well, they're both size 0, so 2 millimeters, but I got a 24-inch and a 32-inch. And I think I did that because I had tried Magic Loop before and I really didn't like it because I found that the cables were really like in my way all the time. And thinking back, I'm pretty sure that it was because I was working with a 40-inch. And that was, yeah, just crazy. So I originally bought the 24 and I started a pair of socks. I think I was at a knit night or a patio social or something. And so I was sitting there with these 24s and it was just a touch too short. And I'm glad that I started them while I was there because I was able to, feel it out. And then at the end, be like, okay, this is just a little too short. So I picked up the 32s. And I don't mind having both of them because it's nice, especially when I do the afterthoughts, having that extra needle to work with. So that was what I bought myself. I actually bought it a couple weeks ago, but I didn't really want to share because because they were on Katie's socks, and I didn't want to share those yet. The other thing that I got, I didn't actually buy for myself, but I got it from my mom. And what she got for me was some, my mom really likes to go to thrift stores and poke around and dig into things, and which is awesome for me because she always kind of sends these care packages with really neat things in them. And she found me some old knitting books. So the first one she got me is Knits from the Heart of Norway. And I don't do a ton of color work, but I find it really inspiring anyways. Plus there's this dude who kind of looks like Johnny Depp in it. But it has just lots of like really beautiful charts. And I just find knitting books really, really inspiring. I usually have tons of ideas going, but sometimes you get a little stuck. I don't know. And so yeah, it just has some charts and lots of I like this black and white one. Lots of really cool things to inspire. So there's that one. Oh, here's the guy. Yeah. So there's that. And these other ones that she got me, I love things from the 60s and 70s. I think it was, I don't know, I just really love it. I love photography from then and fashion and, okay, so there's a couple. The first one is rib ticklers. And these are actually crochet. But they're like a little pamphlet of crochet vests with granny squares. Yeah. And I love them. Which one? I don't know. I just love their blush on these ones. And the colors. This one is a magazine. 75 cents for a knitting magazine. That's pretty pretty friggin' amazing. Women's Day 101. And they're just like, yeah, chock full of, oh, look at that one, random sweaters from the 70s. There was, the one thing I really like about especially old magazines is, there was a really cool page in here. All the ads. Oh, this one. Sorry if you can hear the paper rustling. But like all the random different things. And, oh, which one was it? This. But can you imagine? Knife rusts. That's a thing. That was sold in a magazine. Or a set of 4 for $2. Just amazing. And I love them. Again, like even books from the 70s are like the shapes are so neat, so different, and there's some cool stitch patterns, and this is crochet too. But look at that. Super cool. Oh yeah, and on the back, how you can work from home. You can, become an invisible weaver to repair upholstery. Make money from home. And this one is my favorite. This is the last one. And I think this is a like a promotional book for a yarn company, and it was Wintuck Knitting Worsted. And this is the Gypsy Vest book. And there, let me tell you, there is some scandal in here. Like there's that lady. Okay, first off, here's the cover. When I make a knitting book, this is what I want it to look like. There's one in here. Where is she? Ooh, this lady. How scandalous is that? Okay, I won't show you the whole book, but it's, yeah, just great. So thanks for those, Mom. I really like them. And if anybody has any random stuff from the 70s or 60s that they want to get rid of, knitting related, you can just send them my way. I'd love it. I think that's pretty much it for knitting stuff for now. I have a couple other things though that I'm gonna try to do some things outside of knitting. I feel like for the past couple years, like my whole life has been knitting, and I haven't really made time for a lot of the other things that I like to do. So one thing that I really want to get back into, and something that I was never super great at. Like I've always known how to sew, but I really want to learn how to sew more and better and like actually make clothes. I want to make myself some skirts, I decided. But the first thing that I found that I'm gonna do is like I've knit or sewn bags and things, but that's not really the same as doing clothes. But last time I was at IKEA, I found these rugs, and they're like scrap woven rugs. I think they're like $5 each or something, $6 each. So I picked up 2 of these, and what I want to do is make cushion covers, because I have some like throw pillows on my couch, and I made covers for them a couple years ago. They're knitted. They're like out of Lion brand, super bulky. If you've seen my baby blanket, what I based, those were like the test ones. So then I made them into pillows. And they're just getting old and ratty, and I want them something new. So I'm going to just sew these guys up into pillow covers. And I think it'll be really easy because this edge is finished. And then this edge is finished. And where is the edge? I mean, this is really awkward. So these two edges are finished. So all I really have to do is fold them over. I got 12-inch pillows or something like that. So fold them over like that, and then sew them, and then flip them inside out. And I probably like maybe add a button or something or two on the outside, but that's all I really need to do. Like, I'm not gonna have to do anything too crazy. I'll just have to make sure that I really seam them well. Go over it a couple times to make sure everything stays together. So that's my plan. Hopefully I'll have some finished pillows to show you next time. Also, I made some jam because that's what I do in the summertime. And last weekend, this past weekend, Justin and Georgia and I went out blackberry picking, and we like struck gold. We kind of may have trespassed a little bit, but we kind of hopped the fence into this hayfield, and like all around were these blackberry bushes, and like it was just, usually when you go blackberry picking, you kind of have to, well, I don't know what you do, but we bring a board and like you stomp them down and kind of get in there to get the good ones. These were just hanging there. Like, there were low ones that Georgia could get. There was like high ones, and they were seriously huge. They were like this big. In less than an hour, maybe I'll throw some pictures up there, but in less than an hour, we had a big bucket, a medium bucket, and a little bucket full of blackberries. And I ended up making, on Sunday was the first cool day that we've had in quite some time. And so I made, it was very domestic, I made 11 jars of jam. Like little ones, like the 250 milliliter ones. So 11 jars of jam, a blackberry apple crumble, which we're still eating for breakfast. And then I also froze half of a freezer bag for smoothies and stuff. And then with the rest, I tried to do fruit leather, but I think I left it in there too long or didn't make it thick enough or something. So it's just, that didn't turn out. But I mean, that was like just to use up the very, very end bits. Unfortunately, I tried to cheat with my jam. And usually I get the no sugar needed pectin, because with regular pectin, I don't know if you've ever made jam before, but with regular pectin, like it calls for 6 cups of sugar, white sugar, in jam, and it's really, really sweet. And this time I accidentally bought just the regular pectin, and the first batch, because you have to do it like, I made 11 jars, but in 2 batches because you have to do them separately. So the first batch, I think it called for 5.5 cups. So the first batch I did 3.5 or 4, and it was still really, really sweet. But I, canned them and whatever, and those ones set up very nicely, and they're fine. But the next batch, I tried to fudge it even more and put even less sugar in it. I think I did maybe 2.5, 3 cups. That didn't work. It didn't work. So they are sitting in their jars right now, still in liquid form. That's fine. I mean, I can always just open them up and throw them back in the pot and put some more sugar in and reheat it and try again. So that'll probably be what I do this evening. And yeah, add that to the earlier in the year, George and I went strawberry picking at a U-Pick and made a bunch of jars of strawberry jam. So I think we're good on the jam for a little while, except I remember last year I made some peach honey jam, and that was really good, and I would like to do that again. So if I come across some cheap overripe peaches, then maybe I'll do a couple more. But I find that they just like, Justin doesn't really like jam too much. Georgia loves it. I like it. But I find that especially with the 250 milliliter jars, like they just make really nice gifts for people, like just a little something. Like my aunt had babysat Georgia, and so I brought along a couple jars of jam, and oh, here you go, thanks. I don't know, and then just really nice to, yeah, if Georgia was in school, then it would be a nice thing to give teachers or whatever. So they're just all sitting on our shelf right now, and yeah. Katie really likes it when I make jam. I'll throw some in her birthday present too. I think that's about it for this episode. I don't really have too much more to talk about. I think in the next couple weeks I'll just keep working on Georgia's sweater. I will hopefully finish up the shawl. So testing for that will probably start quite soon, because I would like to have that pattern out for her before Knit City. So yeah, if you are interested in test knitting, you can head on over to the Ravelry group, and there's a thread to sign up, and I have an ongoing list, so I probably won't reply to you on that thread, but I do have an ongoing list. Every time I have a new test knit opportunity, then I just ear burn everyone who said they wanted an ear burn. So put yourself on that list if you want. If you don't know what test knitting is, it is basically you get to knit the pattern before it comes out, and see if there's any errors, or if anything needs to be reworked a little bit, and that, yeah, you get it for free. I usually give another pattern away as well, just as a thank you for doing that. There is a deadline in most cases. Yeah, so if you are interested in that, you can head on over to our Ravelry group. Hey, Georgia, you're just in time to say goodbye. All right, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in 2 weeks. All right, have a good one. So is there anything that you want to say to these people? Mm-hmm. What would you like? A-B? I don't know what that means. Camera. It means camera? I see.